I've become very aware of my mental health and well-being since COVID last year. And I speak openly about my mental health struggle, as there seems to be a bit of a kind of stigma and taboo around it, which I'm just not down with. I think it's part of my heritage, so that kind of traditional keep it all in the family Indian background combined with that British stiff upper lip, where you don't kind of show your emotions. And neither of those kind of seem to serve anyone, let alone the person going through it. And last year, during weeks 11 to 13 of lockdown, I had what I called my mental health holiday. But if I'm truly honest, it wasn't a holiday, it was a breakdown, but holiday seemed like a way nicer way to kind of package it up to myself. COVID had hit the business. I was stuck in a small flat in Hackney, like working, eating, exercising, sleeping in my bedroom. I was stuck in this flat with my partner who has COVID anxiety. And then we lived next door to a COVID testing centre. And then we had George Floyd and the murder of that and the impact of that, not only, I guess, on the business, but society, and also me personally as a brown woman, because it really kind of threw to light a lot of conversations around identity and ethnicity and heritage in a way that I hadn't really thought about before, because I've always been quite embarrassed about my ethnic identity. And it was really challenging to just suddenly have the spotlight and the focus on it against that backdrop of COVID as well. And I found it all just a bit too much. And literally, at some points, I just felt like the rug had been pulled under me. And I just needed some urgent time out of life. I couldn't style it out anymore. And a friend said to me, "You can't pour from an empty cup, Steph." And my cup was well and truly empty. It was lockdown. So this was like, take yourself back to lockdown 1 when, there was not a lot open, there was no accommodation, but luckily my partner found us somewhere to go. And first up, we went to Kent, where I kind of breathed some kind of clean sea air, which is exactly what I needed. And then I went to Somerset, to the countryside, where it was just so quiet. I could hear the birds sing. And, I don't hear birds sing in central Hackney. And it was in that kind of solitude and silence of nature that I realized I'd become a shell of my former self, and I didn't recognize who I was anymore. And it was during this time out, I started to have some really existential questions about why I was here. What's my role? What's my bigger life purpose? All quite big transformational questions that I'd really kind of kept at bay for so long, because, life always provides that kind of shiny new distraction, whether it's work, family, friends, relationships. And how often do we actually get that time to reflect on why we're here on Earth? And it was during this time, my mental health holiday, I found the headspace to think it through and really kind of carve out my life purpose. And it was messy, and I had a coach to help me through that. But where I got to was, I'm kind of here to change the shape of the planet for the next generation of diverse talent. And then at the end of my mental health holiday, I got an email from Penguin stating that I'd won a spot on their Right Now competition for diverse writers sharing my life stories and learnings. Boom. Felt like my life purpose validation, just right there. So why am I telling you this? Yes, I want you to buy my book when it's published, but primarily I want to say 3 things. And that's firstly, there's no shame in needing to take time out of life. I needed my mental health holiday to refocus on where I was heading, because I couldn't see clearly or give myself fully to anything. And they were my warning signs. And everyone here is, we're all ambitious people, but you have to be able to recognize your trigger signs and take action. Make this time out habitual, whether it's long or short. So taking time out for you, I think, is crucial. Some people call it self-care, literally call it what you like, but this is your opportunity to gain clarity and recalibrate and hold yourself and others accountable for it. And then thirdly, take small steps by carving out your own boundaries. For me, I deleted WhatsApp, with so many pings, even just muting the number of messages was giving me anxiety. I just needed to protect my own kind of time and space, but do what works for you, because, we are all different. And I look back on that period and I'm so grateful that I had that time to pause and listen, because, you know, I came undone, but I needed it because I needed to solidify and really kind of find my purpose. And I'll just end my segment by reminding you of the healing power of nature, because nature is the theme of Mental Health Awareness Week this year. And I owe a lot to the green grass of Somerset and the rolling hills of Kent. But you actually don't need to go that far in order to kind of be around nature. It really is like all around us. So my ask to you is that at the end of today, like turn off your laptop, go outside, go find some grass and walk barefoot in it. And I guarantee it really will kind of calm and still your mind. And I just think, we could all do with that calm mind as we kind of navigate these changing and uncertain times.